talking more liposuction today, fat transfer, and large volume liposuction. Is it safe? As people are asking, is it safe to remove that much fat from people? Well, you can go read studies, you can go read reviews, you can do all that stuff, but all I know is that from personal experience, we've done a lot of large volume liposuction, made huge dramatic changes for individuals, and it's been very, very safe. Our, you know, it's not to say that no things happen, because things always happen, but it's been very good for the larger individuals, particularly since we started implementing the plan of, you know, hydrating significantly. Oops. And so when our patients, sorry about this, when our patients come in and they're dehydrated before the procedure, it makes it so they tend to do have many struggles after the procedure. So we started providing water for our patients before, with water bottles, and encouraging them to drink a significant amount of water before they come for their procedure. And that seems to have made a big difference and made it significantly safer for larger individuals. So the concerns, though, right? We always want to talk about the possibility of concerns, but you got to realize that these are remote potentials, remote things that happen. Anytime you do any procedures, it's possible to get an infection. So anytime you break the skin, it's possible for bacteria to get into that hole. And so with liposuction, we have multiple holes in order to get all that fat out of there. And in the healing process, imagine you're wearing these compression garments and you're sweating, and you got sweat underneath there, and the sweat's keeping a warm, moist situation for the wounds, and that's perfect for bacteria. Bacteria love that. So it's ideal after these procedures to keep you dry and cool and protected. If your garment's rubbing on the wounds, then every time it heals just a little bit, it just rubs right off, and it keeps getting inflamed. Okay, let's see, how many days off? Okay, how many days off would I need to take off to recover, just for the standard abdominal lipo? And this Miss Maritza, it kind of depends on what you do for work. If you have a sedentary type job, you can usually get back to those fairly quickly. And if you have a more physical job and you're lifting and bending and twisting, then it might take a little bit longer. After these procedures, you're going to be sore and swollen. It's worse in the first few days. You'll be draining a bunch of fluid, which is messy and an inconvenience. So you would want to be in an area where you can control the environment. So I would say, based off our statistics, the patients claim that they're able to go back to a sedentary type work within 3 to 5 days after the procedure. I'm speaking from experience. I know that I went back to work the next day, so I know that's possible. You're sore, you're swollen, you're achy, but in most cases, you can push through. But everybody's different. And you sit all day. Well, that you got to change that. That's probably the reason why you're here wanting this procedure, is you're sitting all day. They say, the studies say that sedentary lifestyle is like the smoking was in the 80s. We're just starting to realize how bad it is. And it's not even that we're starting to realize, we already know how bad it is to have a sedentary lifestyle and not move. So it would behoove you to figure out a way to get more active. And maybe that's, taking breaks every, I don't know, hour or 2 hours, whatever the case, and walking. Spending time. Maybe you have stairs in the building that you work, and you can go up and down the stairs. Maybe you can do a squat challenge. I know a lot of girls do that at the office, doing squats. And you can figure out ways to stand more while you're working. It would be better for you. And then again, anytime you get you could take micro breaks and do 20 seconds, 30 seconds of squats, or an air sit where you're sitting against the wall. I mean, you have to get creative with this stuff, and it's got to be important to you, and something that you want to do. But I know that, when you're heavier set like this, you go and work out and you're working out like 5 days a week and you're 2 hours a day and you're sweating all the time and it's like you don't see results and it's frustrating. So I get it. So that's why with liposuction is when we get all that fat off of you, it gives you big dramatic change quickly, and in most cases psychologically you're able to be like, oh yeah, now I want to keep going, and it allows you to keep pushing forward, because in many cases what I hear the stories are these girls, they go to the gym for a week or 2 weeks and then they're embarrassed, because all the other people in the gym are leaner or whatever the case, and so they get embarrassed and they don't go back. Yeah, you said office environment, you have to stand up at a desk. Okay, that's good. You know, the more that you can do, the better. I've created habits where whenever I go places, like you go to, Costco, you go to the grocery store, you go to the mall, or you go to wherever you're going, uh, park farther away. This is like totally counterintuitive, right? Everybody's like, oh, I want to get the closest spot so we can, walk the least. But flip your thought process, and you want to walk. So park further away. Or even when there's places that are, right up the street, maybe consider walking a mile to go somewhere. Uh, Consider riding a bike. These are just little things that if you do on a regular basis, it starts to make a difference. And it's not just one thing, it's a combination of a lot of things that you have to change in your life. And many people, I think they're scared of the change itself. So my recommendations for that is to do things slowly. You don't have to, on New Year have your New Year's resolution where I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 2 months. Like, that's crazy, isn't it? You're never going to do it. So you have to do stuff that you can tolerate to do. And when I say tolerate, that means if you're going to decide to go to the gym, get a schedule that works for you. But you don't even have to go to the gym. I haven't been in the gym in 10 years. I hate working out of the gym. I just don't like going there. Not only that, I don't like having to, it's the time to get there and back. To me, it was a waste of time. So I do everything at the house. I don't have any weights. Everything that I do is body weight exercises. And so I use an app and it tells me what to do. It says, okay, in 20 seconds, start, push-ups, get some push-ups. Okay, in 30 seconds, you're gonna do some squats, and you do some squats and burpees and whatever it is. It's body weight exercises, and it makes it really easy. You don't even have to think. You just do. It says, do this. Okay, do it. And just do this stuff. And then next thing weeks go by, months go by, years go by, then all of a sudden the weight's gone, and you have this lifestyle that it's conducive to doing all the things that you want to do, and all your problems just seem to dissolve away. When you start doing the right things, all your problems seem to dissolve away. It's the problems, the things that you keep doing, the bad food that you keep eating, and you're saying it's not that bad for me, it's just a little bit, and you make excuses. They're all bullshit excuses. Okay, you got to realize that. And if you don't realize that, then you're gonna keep doing the same things that you're doing. Okay, you have to have the enlightenment, the illumination that you need to be able to change. If you can't change, then you're never going to change, right? And it's really that simple. I had a long conversation with this individual today for their procedure coming up, their pre-op call, and she asked me, she says, after this procedure, like, how am I going to keep this weight off? If I know that if I keep doing the same thing that I'm doing, I'm just going to keep putting the weight on, and I don't know how to change. And after talking to her, that was totally not true. She knew everything. She knew all the things that she should be doing. It was the problem that she just wasn't doing it. That's the key. Is you have to do what you say you're going to do. You may know that it's good to drink water, but if you don't do it, it doesn't help you. You may know that eating glutens and meat causes inflammation in your body. You may know that, but then if you don't cut it out of your diet, then it's never going to help you. That knowledge never helps you. So when I talk here and I tell you these things, if you don't utilize that knowledge and implement it in your life, then it's completely useless for you. And you may not know that these things work unless you try, because not everybody works the same. my body's different than your body, so the things that I do may not work for you. But what I've found personally is that the cleaner I get, the better everything is. And it's not only, and when I say the better everything is, I'm not talking about losing weight. I'm lean. I don't need to lose weight. I'm talking about I don't have any bloating. I have plenty of energy. I'm strong. I'm flexible. I can do anything that I want to do because my body is functioning properly. I don't have any headaches. I can't remember the last time I had a headache. I can't remember the last time I've been sick. All these things are because my body is functioning properly. And, in our society, when people start having symptoms, instead of going back to cleansing the body and getting the body right, we just cover it up and you put a Band-Aid on it. You're like, oh, I got acid reflux. Oh, we'll just put a Band-Aid on it and give you some pills. So you take these pills. So what was causing your acid reflux is still there. We just cover it up. And that's been the mentality of our society for forever. We just cover things up. And I know that there's been movements to try and do more preventative type medicine, to try to solve the problems before they happen, but it's never caught on. And it's the only reason it doesn't catch on is because you and me haven't agreed to it. So, we're still, we still have fast food restaurants because there's plenty of people that will eat that junk. That's the only reason that they're there. I haven't been to a fast food restaurant in probably 20 years, maybe a little bit less. But the point is that the only reason these businesses are open is because people are buying their stuff. There's enough people that don't understand yet, perhaps, that don't know or don't care. Maybe that's it. They don't care what it's going to do to their body, which is the same reason why we already know cigarettes kill people, right? It causes cancer. Everybody knows that. You've heard it from everywhere, from forever. But however, there's still people that smoke. And either they, it's got to be they don't care or they don't believe. I don't know that anybody could not believe that cigarettes don't kill you or don't cause something that's going to kill you. But, I don't know what the answer is. But then with the same question, you see people that are going eating all this junk food and they're walking out and they're carrying all this excess weight and they got all kinds of medical problems like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, PCOS, multiple sclerosis, digestive issues, bowel problems. All these problems, they're caused from the stuff that we do to ourselves. You were given this body and the body knows how to work. If you didn't do anything, meaning if you didn't eat at all, you didn't expose yourself to any chemicals, all you drank was water, this is called water fasting. If you do this long enough, you'll realize that all your problems go away, all of them. And if you don't trust me, go ahead and try it. And there's research on this, there's studies on this. It's the food and the toxins that we keep putting in our body that are causing the problem. They're causing the disease, they cause the inflammation, they cause all the symptoms that you're experiencing, they cause a lack of energy. That's right. Eating food does not give you energy. That's why it's like the typical thing on Thanksgiving Day. You gorge yourself with all this food and then you plop yourself on the couch and watch TV, watch the Super Bowl or watch whatever. It's because the food that you eat is draining your energy. Just the process of digestion drains a lot of energy out of your body. So when you start to learn how to take care of yourself, and it's not even that, I think a lot of people already know. They already know. It's more so it's the commitment and the discipline. And so when you decide to commit to yourself, that's when you stop making errors. You commit to yourself and you start making better decisions. And then you got to have the discipline to follow through and the persistence to keep doing this until you figure it out. Because you may not, you may not get exactly what you want right from the beginning, but you got to be persistent and keep pushing and keep looking for the answers and how you can get what you want. And that's the only way you're going to get it. And that's everything in life. Everything in life, you just got to keep pushing and be persistent. And if you work hard enough, you'll get it. Whatever it is, the proverbial it. What's up, Kimmy? See, my 360 procedure is 8/24. Can't wait. That's exciting, Kimmy. See all these patients just lipo with no tummy tuck. Yes, Jessica, no tummy tuck. Now, most of the patients are coming here because they want to avoid tummy tuck. And it's not to say that, if they got tummy tuck, they wouldn't get good results. I'm sure they would. But like an individual like this, if you go for a tummy tuck, they just won't get out as much fat. They'll cut the skin away and they'll sew you up and you'll be fat with less skin, less stretch marks, less hanging belly, but you'll still be fat. And because that's the case, this is even if they charge you for liposuction. They typically just don't take out enough fat. So now you got a tummy tuck, a big scar, and you're still fat. And so now you're going to come get liposuction and you're going to pay for that. So that's two separate procedures that you have to pay for, two separate recoveries. Now, this, you can see here, she already had terrible skin quality here. She had stretch marks, loose skin, and you can see afterwards, now granted this is like a few weeks out, but if you zoom in, the skin, you still have the stretch marks, you still have the irregularities or the thin skin. It's still there, but everything is kind of like sucked in. So the hanging stuff is not there anymore. The quality of the skin, she still has the damage that was done prior to the liposuction. And even if she got a tummy tuck, it would be cutting away some of this and it would leave the rest of it. So for her, the fold went away. She still has some, like crepey looking skin, but she had damage to the skin before. So this is way better than it was with all that volume. Now, you have to realize whatever's good for you. This might not be a good option for you if you don't want those type of results. If you're looking like you want to have a big cut across here and you want to have everything pulled down as tight as possible, it's a different look, different feel. It's going to feel different, I promise, because if you can't stand up straight, it feels weird, where you feel like you're yanking on this scar. But when you don't have a scar, there's nothing to yank on. And you see how the skin retracts back. It always does. The question is just how much, and each person's a little bit different. It's different, but you have to keep in mind your potential, your specific situation, and what kind of potential that you have. Because if your expectations are so, I had this lady that I spoke to earlier she was like upset that she didn't have this perfect body, when the truth was like she had a really effed up situation to begin with. A lot of weird lumpy bumpy stuff, hanging skin, stretch marks. She was older. She had adhesions from scars from previous surgeries. She got a lot of stuff going on. And when you compared apples to apples, it was like night and day. She looked way better, like significant improvement in comparison. But in her mind, it's like as if she wanted perfection, and when she didn't get perfection, it wasn't good enough. It was in her mind, it was as if nothing happened, and she was the same as she was before because it wasn't perfect. And I've seen this quite a few times, and it's a shame that I don't know, somehow it's like this body dysmorphia where you see yourself a certain way, and it doesn't matter what changes, you continue to believe that you're still the same way. So I have some patients that we do liposuction, we make them significantly smaller, and they still believe they're fat, and they can't get past that. And so this is like a psychological thing that you have to be able to realize that that's not you anymore, and that sometimes it's hard for people to change and understand that the fat was not who they are. And so when they were identifying as a fat person or chubby chick or whatever you identified with, that's not you. It's just what you were identifying with at the moment. So when we take this fat away from you, you can identify as a different person. It's literally that simple. And that, I'm chuckling because I'm thinking about these people that are identifying as girls or boys or whatever, and they're playing in sports just because they identify with. But that's all it is. You start identifying as a smaller person, and then what happens? You start acting like that smaller person. And that smaller person, maybe they eat better, they exercise more, they wear different clothes, they're more confident, they're more social, they laugh more, they have fun. You have to become that new person. And if you don't become that new person, then maybe you're stuck being lazy, tired, couch potato, who doesn't want to do anything because you're embarrassed. And if you stick and stay into that personality, you identify with that personality, then that's where you stay. And then don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on anybody else. It's your choices that you make. Because you can choose to identify and be whatever you want to be. You want to become be a soccer player, a basketball player, volleyball player, identify with that. I don't care how big you are. You get out there and do it. And you are. Once you do it, you are. You are whatever you said you were. Maria. She says, can I get lipo all over? Yeah, it's possible, but we just may not be able to do it all at once. So we did our quick quote system. So if you go on our, actually here on Facebook, you can go to click on the quick quote, and the quick quote will show you based off of your BMI, your height and weight. There's different safety protocols that in recommendations. So go to the quick quote. You can check out pricing, and it gives you the safety protocol. So if you're a certain height and weight, the BMI, there's certain recommendations based off of the amount of fat that we expect to extract, as well as the amount of fluids that we would utilize to remove that fat. Jacqueline Marchand says, since my lipo with you, I feel younger and sexier. I lost 40 pounds after my thigh lipo and last 20 to go. That's awesome. And now, Jacqueline, did the liposuction motivate you to keep pushing harder, or how do you feel like it changed you psychologically, if at all, or what did it allow you to do differently after having it? So, I guess, what are the benefits, right? That's what people are searching for. And I see so many other benefits other than just getting smaller. We keep showing pictures because I know people are 90% visual, and they need to see it to believe it. But I can tell you stories all day long about these patients and their improvements that are non-visible. That it makes your life easier. It makes you healthier. It somehow, I don't know how this works, but somehow these girls are saying that after the procedure, they don't feel like eating, and it just suppresses your appetite somehow. Don't know exactly how that works. I have some theories. Check out this one. This is a theory. So if you have all these fat cells, the fat cells require nutrients to survive. So your body has to utilize the nutrients to feed the fat cells. So when you are fatter and you carry an abundance of fat, your body has to feed it more, which makes you hungrier. So you need to eat more in order to feed this belly, right? Now, liposuction, once we get rid of the stuff, all of a sudden your body's like, hey, there's no one there. The kids left the house, right? The kids left the house. They're not there anymore. And so because they're not there, you don't have to feed them. And that means that your hormones that are telling you, hey, I'm hungry, or no, I'm not hungry, the hormones aren't coming out, because your body isn't getting the signal that I'm hungry, that I need the food, that I need the nutrients. It's interesting, right? It's an interesting theory. I don't know how true it is, but I can tell you what happens afterwards. After these procedures, we do these large volume liposuction, take a significant amount of fat out, and the people say, I'm just not hungry. I lost my appetite, and now I'm losing weight, and I'm not sure, I'm not doing anything different, but I just don't feel like eating, and I feel like I have a lot more energy, and life is good. So afterwards, it's possible, a lot of people are saying it, it's possible that this inspires you, motivates you to lose more weight after the procedure and get back on track, because that's ultimately what it is. At some point you fall off, we'll call it, right? You start eating maybe comfort foods. And I hear this, people say when I got depressed, or it's like emotional eaters, or stress eaters. This last lady was saying that she owns a business, she's an entrepreneur, she's so stressed all the time, so she eats all the time. And I'm like, hey, that's a bullshit excuse. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm busy, I'm stressed all the time, but it's the way you handle the stress, right? The choice, for her choice, was to go eat, and it's a choice. And that's what, if you're conscious, if you're aware and you're awake when you're making these decisions, if you're conscious of the decision that you're making, then you can make a better decision. But unfortunately, most of us, we fall into these habits, these bad habits. So when, for example, like you might get stressed out after a long day of work, and people do this a lot. This is like an American habit, right? A long week of work, on Fridays, people want to go out for a beer or go out, go out and get drunk and you know, or celebrate or wind down or whatever you want to call it, right? We use all this language to substantiate the things that we do, but that's the habit, right? That's the habit. And someone's, well, I like doing that. Okay, well, if you like doing that, then you like being fat, because that's what's going to cause it, right? And if you can not stop doing these things, then the truth is that's exactly what you need to stop. The fact that you're having a challenge stopping it means that you need to push harder and go into that and like figure out why you can't stop it, why you can't stop doing that thing, eating this certain type of food or doing this certain habit or behavior or pattern. Okay, what's her name? Red Girl says, "Where are you located?" We are located in Las Vegas. Most of our patients are flying in, so we try and make it as easy as possible. For pricing, you can get the quick quote. It's one of the comments here on Facebook. You can also find it on our website. And the quick quote is easy. You get pricing immediately. And then when you're serious, you do your consultation over the phone. So you don't have to come in here. Everything can be done remotely. And then when you schedule your procedure, you're going to fly in the night before, spend 2 nights here after the procedure, and you're back home living your life, thinner and better looking. Okay, so I'm currently looking for a doctor, but I don't want a tummy tuck. Well, then I think maybe you're in the right spot. None of our patients get tummy tuck. You see, I don't know how big you are, but I show these pictures really as a holy shit, I didn't realize that was possible, but obviously we can do this on much smaller individuals. But the big ones, it's like, oh my gosh, wow, this is meant to blow your mind. And so when you say, well, I have a little bit of a hang, do you think that's going to go away? Well, what do you think? If it's possible on someone like this, yeah, of course it's going to go away, right? 250, okay, then you're right in these range of some of these patients where he has these larger bellies, and we can definitely help avoid that tummy tuck. So you're in the right place. Because at that weight, that BMI, you're gonna hear it, and I'm sure you've already heard it other places. As most of the doctors tell you that it have to be your ideal weight, or you have to be below a certain BMI. From what my research is finding, they're saying it's got to be below a BMI of 32. Like, this is in the 40s. So when you say you have to be your BMI of 32, like, really? I mean, if you guys don't realize at this point that you've been lied to with this BS, then I don't know what more I have to tell you. But the individuals that get these procedures, they need to start screaming at the top of their lungs to let people know that this type of thing is possible, because nobody wants to live with like this. And I know there's so many people that are struggling, and they can't get. It's like you're in a hole and you can't get out, and because you're in this hole, it causes you to do all these other stupid things. And I say stupid because they're stupid too. You're hiding, you're eating food poorly, you're not exercising. You already know the things that you should be doing, but you're just not doing them. And somehow being heavier like this, it makes it easier when you're like, I'm already depressed, I'm already not going out, I can't do anything anyway, so I'm just gonna stay home. And if I'm home, I might as well feel good. It makes me feel good to eat, so you eat more, and it's a vicious cycle. Maybe, right? I mean, I've heard these stories thousands of times, and I know that there's someone out there that's living. You're living these stories out every single day, and my prayer is I can capture you before you go and do something that is going to harm you again. Before you run out and get a tummy tuck, and then you have to come back and get liposuction because it didn't go well. Just don't trust me. See the results. And don't trust the results, go talk to the people. You can actually communicate with many of our previous patients. They're on our private Facebook group, My Shape Lipo Support Group. And you're going to go there, and you can see a lot of these pictures were posted there by the people. It was by them. That's why the backgrounds suck, the lighting's terrible, the angles are wishy-washy. Yeah, we know that. We know it's not us posting it, but that makes it more real. because it's not Photoshop. There's no BS. You can communicate directly with these people, which to me is like that's the best thing ever. The best thing ever with especially with something like this. Like testimonials, they can be faked. Competitors do negative stuff. The actual companies are doing positive stuff for themselves, or you ask somebody to write a BS comment for you to boost up your positive ranking. Like this stuff, if you don't, you guys clearly know this stuff is happening. In fact, there's lots of lawsuits going on with the different social media channels that Google and over these fake reviews. So you know they're happening. So stop giving so much weight to these fake reviews. I mean, through all the sites, through Amazon. Amazon's been involved in some huge lawsuits because everybody knows if you guys listen to these stupid fake reviews, then people are going to keep making them. So when we created the group, the idea was is that we can get the actual patients in there and the people that are interested in the procedure and link them together, because it's almost like a mentor, right? These people get the procedures, they've already had the procedure and they understand how everything works. They know the answers to the questions that these guys have. So you get them together and all of a sudden it's like magic. It makes it so much easier. It's like having a family member who's had the procedure already. It makes it, oh man, it's to me, it would make me all warm and fuzzy and feel so much better and confident in my decision to move forward when I know there's not just a few, there's a bunch of people out there that are supporting me and able to answer questions, personal questions. That's what this is all about, and that's why we have the private Facebook group, so our previous patients can share their stories, which when they share their stories, it kind of puts them up on this pedestal, like everybody's watching. Okay, and you might be like, oh, I don't want that, but the truth is what happens now, everybody's watching, they know everybody's watching, and so they keep themselves accountable. So they start eating better, they start exercising more, they start posting pictures of themselves exercising, they start posting pictures of themselves dressing nice because they're showing off their confidence. This is not showing off this dress, this is showing off her confidence, showing off that she has now the confidence to be able to pull this off. And before the procedures, you see lots of patients dressing like this, big drapey clothes, cover up type stuff, and that's standard when you're hiding during your life. When you're in this position, this state of being, this state of mind where you are embarrassed of yourself, you're not happy with your situation, you're not comfortable in your own skin, you hide. And you do this through wearing bigger clothes, through changing the angles of the pictures, turning sideways, wearing darker colors, hiding behind people. Ooh, big thing, right? You see people hiding behind their family members, moms hiding behind their kids, turning sideways, just popping their head in so you can see their face, but they don't want their body to be seen. So when you're hiding, this is a sign that you're not living your best life. It's certainly not your best life. If you're embarrassed with yourself, then that's not your best life. Because when you're embarrassed, you don't allow yourself to do things. And those restrictions that's not the best. You're limiting yourself. And the truth is you don't know what you're missing out on because you limit yourself. So for example, say you're single, right? And you got invited to this party, and where you have to wear this nice yellow fitted dress, and you're like, well, but I got this belly that's bulging out, and people are going to ask me if I'm pregnant, so I don't want to wear that. And so, but you can't wear this big drapey stuff that you normally wear, so you decide that you're just not going to go, and you don't go to this event. And what could have happened? This is the thought that you have to start having, is what could have happened. Maybe you could have met the man of your dreams. Maybe you could have met a business partner. Maybe you could have just had a good time and had a night to remember. I mean, anything could have happened. But if you don't go, there's no way anything can happen. And now multiply that times hundreds of times, thousands of times. How much have you missed out on your life? And when you start realizing how powerful this is and how much you've missed, how much you've been hiding from. You're like, whoa, it blows your mind. It'll blow your mind, I promise you. Blow your mind. Okay, I am Black Beauty. Says, hello there, I can't believe that I caught you live. I'm here. So if you have any questions, now's the time, right? And Jacqueline says, just motivate me more. You know, it's if compliments are you know things that motivate you. That's why you know like these girls get liposuction. It's like your compliments galore. I mean, all the people around you are going to be shocked, and they're going to keep telling you. And here's the cool thing is that not only are they going to keep telling you the physical stuff, but when you're happy, you're smiling, you have more energy, and you seem healthier, people are going to notice that too. And that's what you should be noticing, because it's like you're going to start radiating this positive energy, and you have a new love for yourself. And that love for yourself also translates to a love for life. You're going to want to do more. Real quick, I am Black Beauty. Says, where are you located? We are located in Las Vegas. Majority of our patients are flying in for the procedures. We do have a recovery house if you need to use that, but if you're coming with a friend or family, that's good as well. Typically, we recommend that you fly in the day before the procedure, and then you can stay for 2 nights afterwards for the easiest travel. And if you're looking for pricing, go to the quick quote on YouTube. It's there's a link in one of the comments there. Yamaleth says, I've been looking for a lipo only. I'm ready for my consultation. I'm 195 pounds and I feel so depressed after being diagnosed with MS. I gained all the weight from 145 to 195. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend you're ready. You know, 195, you're right in the range as a lot of these girls, so I'm sure you can see what we're able to do with somebody your size. Get rid of the belly, right? And this depression, we're gonna whack it. I'm gonna suck the depression out of you if that's even possible. Actually, as I was saying that, I there was probably some other connotations of that wasn't appropriate, so I apologize. Yara, you asked for the address, please. You know, I'm not going to rattle that off, but you can check on our website, myshapelipo.com. It'll be there. Okay, what does it cost for just the tummy area? I tried the quick quote, but can I get an estimate what it starts at? Yeah, I mean, if you're small, if you're like your ideal weight, it's cheaper. It's like $3,800 for the front of your abdomen, but as you get bigger, it's a lot more work, a lot more, you know, it gets more expensive. So the quick quote, you know, for most people are going to follow that fall on this treating the front of the abdomen, it'll be about $7,500 for that, and that's going to include the smart lipo. And also, you got to keep in mind that the area that we treat here is going to go up just below the breast line. And then down below, wherever it folds, we go past the fold and we go into the pubic area. So it's everything on the front of the abdomen, the entire problem. Okay, whatever your problem is, and this is, I don't define this by area because I'm doing the whole problem. Because I was tired of getting crappy results because people chose the wrong areas for financial reasons. So if you do 360 lipo, we're going to get everything. If you do the front of the abdomen, we're going to get everything. If you just do the waistline, we're going to get the whole thing to create the hourglass figure, shape the butt, all of that stuff. The goals need to be attained, not the area. Now the area is going to consequently get treated, but it's the goal of creating this shape that I want, the best shape that I want, the best shape to the butt, the best hourglass figure, and I'm going to do all the area that's required to get the best results. It's way better. It's way better. So we kind of have more like package deals. In the past, when we did per area, people were all over the place, and the results were the same. They were all over the place. So MS. Yeah, I have a friend that has that. I heard some information recently about MS, but I think that, and I'm going to kind of go back to this purity and this cleansing and detoxing, because our body in most cases it succumbs to disease or dis-ease because we're not at ease. And so when we say dis-ease, if you break that word down, it's like you're not we're not at ease. And so when your body's not relaxed, when you're not able to relax and you're constantly in tension, that causes inflammation. So most of the issues that we experience from a bodily standpoint are caused from a lack of being at ease, so calmness. So we were talking stress, anxiety, fear, stuff like that. Then also it's the inflammation. The foods that we eat, they cause inflammation in our body. So we're talking like the arthritis, um, we got inflammation of the blood vessels, which cause the hypertension. We got inflammation of the bowels. You got inflammation of tissues that, it's typically on the foundational level. It's the inflammation itself that causes the problem, and then the inflammation leads to the symptoms. So like your kidneys get swollen, they don't function as well, and it's the inflammation that's the foundational basis for the development of disease. So if you can address your inflammation up front and eat better foods, and drink plenty of water, and do the things that are necessary to have less inflammation in your body, consequently down the road, 4, 5, 10 years, 20 years down the road, you're not going to get the disease. That's the magic. Now that's not sexy, because people are like, well, okay, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. Well, that's awesome, right? I didn't get cancer, I didn't get heart disease, I didn't get lungies, I didn't get any of these things. That's awesome. But it's, when people, there's no point in time to celebrate with that, right? But if you get heart disease, there's a distinct point in time when you're like, oh shit. My mom just had this oh shit in her life. Some of you might be experiencing this oh shit, like I'm diabetic, I'm pre-diabetic, or I have high blood pressure, or high cholesterol, or hormonal issues. When you start experiencing disease, and it's usually towards a certain stage and periods of your life, because it takes time for the toxins and the inflammation to destroy our body, but it takes time. So it's usually in the late 30s, early 40s. Definitely people starting to get more serious disease in the 50s and the 60s, and cancer starts later after that, sometimes even sooner. But all these things are just, they're consequences of the things that you're doing right now. The things that happen to you 10 years from now are consequences of right now. And without that foresight, and I know you already know, but you don't act as if that's true. You act as if in 10 years from now, you don't have to deal with the consequences, but that's not true. You're going to have to deal with more consequences in the future if you don't take care of yourself now. If you want to make your life easy, I always say this: the future me is going to thank me for doing this today. So when I eat right, when I sacrifice whatever I sacrifice, when I exercise hard, when I do what I'm supposed to do, in my mind I'm like, the future me is going to thank me today. And that allows me to keep doing it. All right, we're going to wrap this up in just a minute. Any other quick questions? So can you make the incisions for lipo through a C-section scar? Typically, that's not where I'm making my incisions. If you have scars that are right in like tummy tuck scars, I can usually put my lower holes right on the scar there. But they're tiny little scars, and I know they can leave marks. However, it's, in my opinion, more important to get the overall results. And if these incisions are not made in the proper place, then I may not be able to reach certain things, or it might inhibit my ability to do my job. So that's clearly not what we want. So if you have a scar in the right position for me, then sometimes I can reuse them, but it's not always the case. Reina Reyes says, is there a way to private message you? Absolutely. You're on Facebook right now, so it's Messenger. Okay, Deidre, will C-section scar fade once the procedure is done? When you say fade, I don't know if that's the case. It's not, and the procedure doesn't stop it from fading, but what it does is typically when people have a C-section scar, they get a fold right at that point. And so what the procedure does is I can take the fat on both sides of the fold, and I can also break up some of the adhesions to flatten everything out. And when it flattens everything out, is the visible nature of the scar is different. When things are flat, it's different than having the adhesions. You might have a puckering sense now, and if we can get it flat, it's, you know, it's more even. So will it fade? Color wise, I don't know that that's going to make any difference, but it might. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Get your quick quote. That's the initial step. Get your quick quote. You can get your pricing, and then when you're serious, you're ready to move forward, the next step is a formal consultation. You're going to send pictures and speak directly to me, and we'll develop a plan and get you on track to the best life. All right, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.